angel came to Mary, and she told Mary that she was going to have a baby. And Mary was very surprised, because back then you didn't have babies unless you were married and had a husband. And she didn't have a husband yet. She just had a boyfriend. What would be her boyfriend now? And his name was Joseph. And she told Mary, though, that God had put a baby inside of her, and that his name would be Jesus when he was born. So Mary was very nervous, because she had to go home and tell Joseph that she would be having a baby. And she was scared that he would leave her, because back then people didn't stay together if they had babies, if they weren't married, because you weren't supposed to do that. And Mary told Joseph, and Joseph said that he would keep Mary and that they would have Jesus together, because that's what God wanted. So it came the time that Mary got very, very pregnant, and she was going to have the baby soon. And so they had to travel for a long ways, because they had to go pay taxes. And when they went to pay the taxes, they had to travel for miles. It wasn't like how it is now, where you just go to a tax office and pay the taxes. They had to ride a camel for days to get to Jerusalem to pay the taxes. And when they got there, Mary realized that she was going to have the baby soon. And they didn't even know they were going to make it to Jerusalem. That was that close to having the baby. And so they went from hotel to hotel, trying to try to find somebody to let them stay with them. And there was no openings, because everybody else was there paying taxes too. So finally a farmer said, "You can stay in my barn, and there's not much out there but hay, but you can stay out there." So they went out, and they found a little basket. If the baby Jesus wasn't taped in here, I'd show you, but I've got him taped in here so I don't lose him. But just a basket that they used to feed off of. That's a feed trough. And when the baby was born, a bright star shined in the sky. And the angels made this star come so that they brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And they brought all this stuff for baby Jesus, because they knew that star meant something special. And so they traveled for miles to be there with them, the four wise, and even the animals wanted to be near Jesus. So they set up a barn. I'll show you. And Joseph was here. And this is why we make our manger scene to this day. And we had the baby in the middle. And the star was way up here in the sky, because they wanted everybody to, or the angel wanted everybody to see. And the animals gathered around. So all that was there at first was Mary, Joseph, and who's this? Baby Jesus. And they brought gifts. And because they brought gifts, why do we get gifts today?
Because Jesus wanted us to have so much too.
We celebrate Jesus' birthday, don't we? And they all gathered around because they were so excited that this new baby was born. And what is his name?
Jesus.
And to this day, that's why we have Christmas, because we want the whole world to know that we celebrate Jesus and his birth And this is why we have Christmas. Did you know that? And that's why Mommy tells you guys this story every year, because I want you guys to remember the reason why we have Christmas. It isn't because of the gifts. It isn't because of singing carols or anything else. We sing carols to celebrate, and we do give gifts. But you know what? That's not what Christmas is about.
It's all about your family.
Christmas is about gathering with friends and
Family and
family.
friends. And Jesus. Family and friends.
And what else is it about?
Jesus.
It's about baby Jesus, because that's his birthday. And that's why we celebrate Christmas.
I know why we get presents. Because he got so much presents, the people decided to give us presents.
Well, years later, they didn't, first it wasn't called Christmas. And years later, it was just called Jesus' birth. But then one day, years later, people decided that they would give gifts to each other.
Mom.
But that was just something that they just started doing. It isn't really, that's not why we have
Mom.
Christmas. We have Christmas because of Jesus being born. And we celebrate him being born. And that's why a lot of people go to church on Christmas. And we say prayers. And we enjoy our time together.
I saw
And-
a box that says my tennis ball.
Yeah, but we're talking about that, right? And that's why we have Christmas to this day. And some kids don't get any presents.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah,
Some parents don't believe that kids should get Christmas presents.
because my friend in my class, his name is Cameron. He doesn't get any. They don't believe in.
Yep.
God.
Yep. Some people don't believe in
believe-
God, but
I
we
do.
do. And but some parents don't have money to give Christmas presents to their kids, right? And other
Yeah.
parents do.
We're lucky we got
And
presents.
some people just get like 1 or 2 gifts
Yeah,
because that's the way that their parents have decided that's how they're going to have Christmas. And other people believe in who?
Jesus, God. And
Jesus and God, which is why we have Christmas. But that's not what other people believe in. Who comes?
Santa.
Santa Claus. And we've celebrated Santa Claus, haven't we? But where does Santa Claus live? Always in your hearts, right? Always and forever. And as long as you believe in your heart, what happens?
He comes to life.
He comes to life on Christmas Eve, and he brings you Christmas presents, right?
We're lucky we even got presents. Yeah.
That's right. You're very lucky because not everybody does.
Yeah. And people just get 0 presents.
And years ago, they didn't have presents for little kids because that's why it wasn't Christmas. It was just another day. They had to go pay taxes, and it was a lot of money. Back then, taxes were very expensive. It was more than what we make in a year, what we would imagine making in a year.
How much?
It was a lot of money for them, and they had to come up with that money, and they had to save money to make that money happen. It was a lot.
But Jesus does want us to have
Money
all
wasn't
of
the
them.
same as what we have money now. You wouldn't understand
And
how much it
Jesus
is,
wants
but it's a
all of
lot
us
for
to
them.
have presents.
And that's why there wasn't enough rooms. Like a lot of everybody had to go to the same place to pay
What
taxes.
did money look like? So it would take a long time just for one person to get up there?
Yep.
What did money look like?
And sometimes you had to go there and stay for days because you couldn't get in right away to pay the taxes because there were so many people waiting. And that's why Mary had to have the baby there. Otherwise, and if the farmer wouldn't have said Mary could have the baby there, Mary would have just had the baby on the street because there would have been no place for her to go. Can you imagine us having Annika on the street, as little as she is? And how sick that she could possibly get because she would be in all them germs. But back then, there was lots of germs and stuff like that. More germs than even now because they didn't have all the stuff we've got now. We're very lucky.
What they have? We're very lucky that
We're
we
very
get
blessed.
presents and some people don't.
That's right, and we're very blessed.
Well, yeah, we wish that everybody could have a present.
Yeah, that would be nice, huh?
Mom, what they have for
So that's why we have Christmas.
What they have for
It was coins, but it was special coins.
Like
It
gold.
was like gold and stuff. They had to trade stuff.
Did they get?
Sometimes they had to bring like animals to pay taxes, or they had to bring gold or silver or things in their home to try to pay the taxes, so they couldn't
cats.
come up with the money. Animals or something like that, like something that they could eat. Even back then, when people would go to the doctor, sometimes they'd pay for the doctor with like chickens, or chicken eggs, or cow's milk, or billy goat's milk,
My friend.
because they didn't have money like we've got money. So that's the end of the story, and that's why we have Christmas to this day, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we actually celebrate Christmas, because that's not,
And
we
that's
don't
why-
celebrate Christmas because of gifts. And that's where a lot of kids get mixed up, because they think that Christmas is all about the gifts, and that's not why we have Christmas.
And that's why we got Christmas.
You guys are lucky, and you guys
tomorrow.
do get a lot of gifts,
That's why we get.
but remember,
Christmas Eve tomorrow.
you need to listen. You need to listen. Remember, that's not why, not everybody gets those kinds of gifts. You guys are very lucky. You're very blessed.
It's all about family.
And it is. It's about family. And
You
a lot of
don't
people
have to
spend a
get
lot of time with
presents.
family, but we can't do that because we're so far away
Yeah.
right now. So that's why, like, a lot of times we video chat with family on Christmas or Thanksgiving.
You don't have to get presents. You just have to have love.
That's right. You don't have to get presents at all, do you?
You
And
just
a
have
lot
to
of,
have love.
some kids, that's all they get.
Yeah,
You know what some kids get? You see your stockings up there? Some kids, all they get is just that stocking filled up with toys. Little trinkets and candy. When grandma was little, grandma said that they were lucky they got one present sometimes. And then their socks would be filled with goodies and cookies and candy. Because Grandma Olson was a baker. She liked to bake. So did Grandma Bennett. You know what Grandma Bennett used to do? She had to hide her cookies and her fudge. And she'd have to lock it up because all the kids would try stealing the candy and cookies and fudge before she'd get it even. She'd make it ahead of time. And they'd sneak in there and try to get it all. And eat it all before she'd even get it out for Christmas.
Did you?
She was mad. No, that was before I was born. That would have been Grandpa's family. Grandpa Bennett.
do it?
I'm sure Grandpa Bennett did it too.
Did Grandma?
I don't know what Grandma did when she was little, but I bet you she's got some stories she could tell you when you call her. Okay? All right, I love you.